Hey, Banner, what'd you think of that WandaVision episode this past week?
Oh man, it was really, really good. I'm really, really excited for the future.
Wait, did we recast Banner?
Look, at least he didn't use the laugh track this week. Damn it, Banner!
Okay, I'm getting the hose.
Welcome in to the Bro 4 Squad podcast, where we're just a bunch of bros drinking beer and watching TV and movies. I am your host, the Mayor Jeff Hornacek, and this is our review of WandaVision, episode 5. Thank you so much for checking us out. We are here to review this episode as we do all of our TV episodes on the Bro 4 Squad criteria, which is the acting, the story, our favorite scene, and then any theories and questions going forward. I am joined, of course, by the mad scientist, Brian Banner, and the American hero, Nate Thurmond. And this was a big one. We want to get to the good stuff at the end, so let's dive right into it. Banner, we will toss it to you first. Episode 5, we're past the halfway point of WandaVision. What do you think of the acting and the performances in this last episode?
As we're coming accustomed, I think pretty much everybody across the board did really well, but someone who stood out to me, especially at the beginning of the episode, is your girl, Catherine Hahn. She was great. Absolutely phenomenal. We knew that there's something going on with her character, and she's just been kind of laying in wait in the background. So for her to kind of show her head a little bit and say, hey, I'm still here, and this is what I can do, very, very impressed. Because it wasn't as much comedic chops as what we're accustomed to seeing with her. A little bit more serious at times, and it worked really well.
Thank you for calling her my girl.
Yeah, I think this was a great reintroduction because I don't think she was in the last episode really at all. So yeah, her coming in and showing her importance here in an interesting way, obviously in like the opening scene and everything. But yeah, the way she played it off was fantastic. And yeah, she really added a nice little spark.
And we're going to find out, but there's clearly much more beneath the surface to Agnes than we've seen so far. Before I toss it to you, Nate, one thing I just wanted to mention. First off, Tiana Paris, I thought had a really good bounce back episode for me as Monica Rambeau.
Yes.
She was awesome in this episode. And I want to give Paul Bettany some credit because he's just really been flexing his muscles this whole show. His ability to pivot from slapstick humor to incredibly solemn, serious, and concerned vision in almost like consecutive sentences of this was really on full display here, and I thought it was very impressive.
Yeah, I actually had that on my notes as well, Paul Bettany. And my one note, I was just going to expand on it, was unraveling, because that's basically what he was doing. You've kind of seen that in the previous episodes, but this one, yes, going back and forth between him trying to play this slapstick sitcom character and then really finding out what's beneath the layers of his reality right now. And yeah, he did a great job of that. But really, I don't know if we've thrown her enough praise just because she's front and center. But I mean, Elizabeth Olsen, I mean, she's bringing it. I mean, she is fantastic in this because you can tell like the emotion she's fighting with like internally, and it is like legit. Like she is Wanda, she is in this world, and she's trying to hold everything together, and it's like on the brink of fucking falling apart. And like, I don't know, it's really hard to describe, but she is like killing it because you can see the struggle, like when she's talking with her kids and talking with Vision and all this stuff. It's just a great performance.
She's done a great job of displaying like that pent up anger where like maybe she has kind of snapped, but if she hasn't, she's really fucking close. Like, don't nudge her even the slightest bit, otherwise it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
One last thing I want to say, and then Banner, if you don't have anything else, we can move on to story, is Josh Stamberg, who plays Director Hayward, he's gotten me very intrigued in his character. And I have a couple theories on him, but I kind of could have taken him or left him a few episodes ago, and now I'm the Leo DiCaprio meme from Django where he said, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention. That's me with Josh Stamberg and Director Hayward of S.W.O.R.D.
Yeah, I think he's slow build with him.
Yeah, and he's definitely improved every single episode that we've seen him in. like you, Jeff. I was like, who the fuck is this guy and what do we need him for? And now, I know who he is and I understand why we need him.
Yeah. All right, on to the story. According to IMDb, the plot synopsis is Wanda addresses Vision's worries when he grows suspicious of the neighbor's strange behavior. Neighbor, of course, being Agnes in this case. And the only note I had before I kind of toss it to you, Nate, was this episode was more in line with what I thought the show was going to be, where it was basically a 50-50 split between the sitcom, like faux reality, and what's happening in the MCU. That was how I envisioned the whole show being. I think that's why episodes 1 and 2 kind of threw me off, because they were 95% sitcom world and 5% MCU. Now we get that 50-50 split, which helps. That dichotomy helps build the creepiness factor when you see what's behind it.
Yeah, this is the perfect balance between the two worlds. The way that they are slowly introducing or having Vision figure out that this is all not real or not what it's supposed to be has been very. You've seen glimpses of it every single episode, but now they just showed us, hey, this is it.
Yeah, I mean,
he's really I'm so fucking confused by the whole episode, guys.
No, there's a lot to unpack in this one as far as the story and plot, because as many things that were answered, you have just as many, if not more, questions going forward. Obviously, Vision is to the point where he knows. He channels into Norm's mind, and he breaks out of his own character in the sitcom and starts ranting about she's controlling him and all this kind of stuff, which, in my opinion, is kind of to the theory that Agnes is still all behind this. I think they're setting this up on purpose for him to say she, but it's not Wanda. I think it's like kind of the red herring at this point.
I don't think Wanda would lie. So when she says, I'm not doing this.
Yes. And that was another big theme in this one is there was a lot of things that happened that she did not control or would not want to control. Like obviously the big reveal at the end with her brother showing up. And then some of the other things, like she wasn't actually able to get her babies to stop crying whenever she was like, oh, here we go, 1, 2, 3, and they're still crying.
Right.
So there's kind of some peaks of her not really having the omnipotent presence that we thought she did.
And I don't want to get too much into theories and questions because that's coming up in like a minute, but Vision's sentience and awareness that this is all fake and being controlled is interesting to me, because we know he's dead. We know that he's basically a reanimated corpse. How is he basically repellent to this spell that's affecting everyone else? Because he should be, by all accounts, a figment of this world, like a fake part of it. Yet he's somehow becoming not self-aware, that's not the right word, but aware of the things that are not real. Mm-hmm. So that has me really interested too. Like, we know he's not alive. That's referenced again later in the show. We've seen it in the trailers. How does he know what the fuck's going on when, like, he should, by all intents and purposes, be a creation of this world too?
And that's one of the things that kind of leaks into theories and questions and things. But is Vision alive? I
had that question too. And
yeah, again, is he alive right now, or is this because like Horn said, he is figuring things out. He has some cognitive thoughts. So did she really bring him back to life? Whenever she had that zombie Vision kind of flash in a couple episodes ago, is that really what he looks like right now? But he is still acting on his own accord, more or less. So I know those are things that are kind of hanging out there that we don't really have answers for at the time.
All right, ready for best scene?
Hold on. I think I had a few more things before we jump into that. Please. Make it quick. Crazy thing. This has all happened in 9 days. She obviously busts into Sword, gets Vision's body and all that. Another thing with the plot, I'm interested to see where this goes. You guys may have picked up on this and have theories. Rainbow says, I know an aerospace engineer, and starts texting someone.
I was getting to that. And so if it happens in 9 days, also, this is well before Spider-Man Far From Home, when Peter seems to be aware of the concept of the multiverse when Mysterio presents it to him. I'm just saying.
There we go. Piecing it all together.
All right, best scene. I had a serious one and then a not so serious one. Guys, have to tip our cap to the 80s sitcom theme that starts the episode. an homage to the Growing Pains song, I thought. And I literally rewound it twice because I was laughing my ass off at Child Vision, like being 5 years old.
So good.
3 years old with his little bow tie and his fucking sweater vest.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Like, whoever wrote that and thought of that, just absolutely genius. What'd you have, Banner?
So going along with that, the opening scene, something I thought was really funny is whenever Agnes walks in and Vision covers up his face with a pillow and he goes, "Oh, hi, Agnes. I was just fluffing this pillow with my face."
That was a great line.
I was like, okay, that was perfect 80s sitcom comedy. And then it turned right into Agnes trying to take care of the babies or not, and having to hit that reset, or Agnes asking, "Oh, are we going to reset?" And that really just set the tone for the whole episode, what we were getting into and what was going to happen. So
yeah, that was the early break that you're like, okay, this is where we're going. Everyone's getting more self-aware. This is fucking awesome.
I love how Vision kept going. Did you not see that? Because you're at home like, what the fuck is happening?
And at that point, Wanda is just like blindly denying it. Just like a parent saying, like a kid asking, like, "Why do I have to do this?" "Because I'm your parent, because I said so."
And how cool is it when she tries to roll the credits for the episode and Vision's like, "No, fuck that. We're not rolling credits. We're going to talk about it."
Well, that's a good segue, because that was one of my best scenes that I had on here, which was, closer to the end. But yes, he's unraveling all of this. He's unfolding it to Wanda, and she's obviously like, "Fuck you. Nope, this is where we live." And it was a great mashup, as we said before. Like, this episode was probably like 50-50, like sitcom world, real world. And it was an intense, funny moment, and they did a great job of like layering those over each other. With the credits rolling, but they're arguing and yelling at each other. I'm like, right. I don't know what emotion to feel. I feel several, but they did a great job because they're making me feel more than one emotion at one time.
Because normally in the sitcom, they have like the stupid, like, they freeze like mid jump or like mid laugh. This Vision was like, "No, fuck that. We're having this conversation."
Yeah, that was a great scene in my opinion, just meshing all that together.
Banner, anything you want to add?
I've got one other one. Honorable mention when Wanda just fucks up that drone and walks out and basically tells Sword, "Hey, y'all need to get the fuck out of here and leave me alone." Awesome. Elizabeth Olsen, like you said before, absolutely murdered that scene.
Her accent
got the
back.
Sokovian accent back, which was awesome.
It was a Stark Industries drone as well.
Yeah.
Yep. And Jeff, I don't know if you noticed this, but little homage to X-Men with her turning all of the guns on the director. Exact same thing that Magneto does.
Good call out. Yep.
Yeah, the very first X-Men, one of the coolest scenes of that movie.
Can we just segue that right into theories and questions?
Yes. So the last part of the show, theories and questions. And Banner, at the end of this, I know you and I, and maybe Nate found one too, did some research on the internet. So I want us to each introduce briefly the worst or stupidest theory that we read online as well. But Banner, since you're the Fox guy and the X-Men guy, are we now on the same team? Like, what was that? We talked earlier about Evan Peters. We knew he was in the show. And I'm sorry if that was a spoiler, because apparently a lot of people didn't know that, but I had read it like a while ago.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck was that ending? My jaw's still on the floor.
So, I mean, the multiverse is open, right? It has to be.
I don't see another explanation. Purposely bring in the person who played Quicksilver 3 times in the Foxverse.
And I talked to this off pod earlier today with Banner. Did she recast Pietro? Was a little on the nose.
Yeah.
And it's tough to tell, like, she obviously seen this as a sitcom, and is she just saying like, oh, she recast him into her world?
Right.
But like using the word recast and it's like actually another character is
Because Darcy doesn't know obviously about the multiverse and the Fox X-Men. So she doesn't know that that's actually a Quicksilver from another universe.
Yes. Which just using the word recast kind of threw me off a bit, but I accepted it.
So it's got to be open, right? I mean, there's no other explanation. That's the only thing. I just needed to make sure I was on the same page as everybody else with that one. I'm still holding out hope that we're going to see Magneto.
Yeah. So Elizabeth Olsen teased a Luke Skywalker level cameo at the end of the show. I think Michael Fassbender's popping up, dude.
That's exactly what I said, and I can get us there where it actually makes sense if you want to.
Where
Where
Kevin 6 Degrees and Kevin Bacon here.
maybe
Actually, Kevin Bacon was in X-Men First
Yeah.
Class, so holy shit.
with Fassbender.
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
I think Magneto is still going to be Wanda's dad. I think that Wanda's mom left Magneto right before the twins were born.
Yeah.
And now he's coming back. I mean, that's Fassbender's going to
mean-
walk through the fucking door. He's got to.
Well, he could be her dad, but from the multiverse, from Evan Peters' universe. Because if we remember in, I believe it's Apocalypse or Days of Future Past, they show a 5-year-old Scarlet Witch. She kills all those ravens, remember?
Yeah.
In the woods.
I believe that's...
I think it's Apocalypse.
I
don't think Ray Rice was on the Ravens.
No, we know Ray Rice can hold his own against a... Never mind.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All right.
So, Banner, I guess what I'm really interested in now is literally the first probably minute or two of the next episode, because that will supplement the Evan Peters scene we got here, which had me ecstatic.
What was the question?
It's just a statement.
it was a
Not a
statement.
question. I was saying the beginning of next episode is going to be very crucial because obviously the way this last one ends, everyone in the room is like, "Who the fuck are you?" He's like, "What? I can't hug my sis."
Yeah.
So did Wanda or even Agnes rip open the multiverse? Because Wanda says specifically, "I can't bring people back from the dead."
Yeah.
So the closest thing she could do to getting her brother back is getting the one from the Fox movies.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this plays into what we were saying earlier. I mean, I'm still 100% behind Agnes is Agatha Harkness, and she's the witch, and she's kind of behind all this. There may be someone else involved in it with her, but things are beginning to happen that Wanda doesn't want to happen, and she's not being able to use her magic and augment reality or in her reality. So yeah, still, like I said, still 100%. And I want Dottie. I really want Dottie to be someone.
We haven't seen her in a while.
She wasn't in this last episode. Horns had a good idea of who she might be.
Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Yeah. But I've changed course on that one.
Oh boy.
We'll just go round and robin then. My new theory: director Hayward of Sword is Mephisto. This could change weekly, so
Keep up, guys.
but right now I think he is Mephisto. And kind of tying into that, the scene where we see the security footage right after Tony Stark's funeral, presumably of Wanda breaking in and stealing Vision's body, I believe she was under a spell doing that. I don't think she did that of her own accord.
I agree.
Yeah, and that would just play into the overall theory of Agnes being behind it. Banner, what do you got?
So Jeff had planted this in my head last week or maybe the week before, where Wanda very well could be the bad guy. She could easily be the villain in this story. They made a point of telling us Wanda doesn't have a nickname. As far as this world goes, she is not known as the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be some event where it's going to get fairly bloody, and that's how she's going to get her Scarlet Witch. Wow. How it's going to be coined that.
Very good point. Yeah, again, every piece of dialogue is intentional. And they reference it like 2 or 3 times. I was like, we get it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that there has to be significance there to that.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Really, all my questions and theories have already brought up.
Yeah, I just want to come back to Nate's from earlier. So the scene where I believe it's Agent Wu, Darcy, and I don't think Hayward was in the room, Monica Rambeau are talking about the actual battle at Avengers HQ, and they reference Captain Marvel briefly. Obviously, Monica Rambeau's character was 8 years old. Her mother, Maria, was best friends with Carol Danvers in the Air Force. And she kind of has a look on her face like she doesn't want to hear that name, Captain Marvel.
Great point. I forgot to write that down, but no, I actually did. Yeah, Captain Marvel came close. And then Rambeau gives like this weird
like
look.
Rolls her eyes kind of like, fuck that bitch.
Yeah.
But also, like Nate brought up earlier, who did she text for help? I mean, we're going to get another scientist or someone at some point.
Aerospace engineer.
Could that, Banner, are we going to get someone from the Richards family here?
I mean, that was the only thing that came to my mind. But
John Krasinski as Reed Richards going to finally show up?
I don't think so.
I don't know, but
because he's got to show up within the next episode, right?
I don't know how long it takes to maybe slow playing. He doesn't want to text her back like right away, you know?
Yeah. Yes. He doesn't want to be desperate.
No.
So I'm very confused. Is Vision alive or not?
See that? I mean, that's the thing, and I just want to bring it up earlier just to get your guys' opinion. But God, it's I'm like battling it in my head because I think he does look like he looked at the whenever he had the stone taken out of his head, and the Vision zombie that we saw. I think he looks like that, but I really think he is moving around his own body. But does that mean that Wanda is controlling him? I don't know.
Right. So it's possible for him, like theoretically, in the comics, he lives without the Mind Stone. He has Jarvis's consciousness inside of him. The only issue is, like, why did they show us his clear corpse with his head dented in and the gray lifeless body they had? Yeah. But also, how is he figuring all this shit out like he's immune to it? Because an android, in theory, would not be able to be hypnotized, right? Like, you can't hypnotize your toaster.
I think he is of his own, for lack of better words, of his own sound mind and body, but he still looks like that. He still looks fucked up. But he is still acting on his own accord because he's figuring it out.
Wanda has, like, beer goggles.
Yes.
I think, could it be that Wanda some way has part of the Mind Stone in her? We know she was experimented on with the Mind Stone and the scepter.
100%.
And because of that, she now has the ability to reanimate or keep at least Vision's consciousness going.
Yeah,
very possible.
I think that kind of plays into that whole idea I had behind that. Yeah, because she was involved with the Mind Stone at some point, experimented with it, and there's got to be some connection there, which is giving her the ability to bring him back to life in whatever form he is right now.
Jeff, I just thought of this too to reinforce your Hayward is Mephisto.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to Monica's X-rays and like her blood labs and stuff?
Yeah, that was weird too.
And like all that's controlled by Sword.
I love that the chick working for Sword's like, I need to get more blood from you. And Monica's like, I'm not.
We're done.
That's not happening. I've been here for like 6 hours.
No. Yeah, we're over.
You guys got anything else?
Just the worst theory I read online. So if you guys have anything.
I actually did not bring one to the table, but I'd love to hear yours.
Okay. Banner, what else you got before we get to that?
Are we going to see Speed and Wiccan use their powers this season? Or is it going to be in a different power? Or a different
think Agnes, I believe, because in the comics, Agnes tries to steal Wanda's children.
Yes.
So maybe that's still where Agatha Harkness is going here, assuming Agnes is Agatha Harkness. But again, I don't understand, like, I couldn't even tell you if the kids are real or not, or because can Wanda materialize a person out of thin air? You speculated she was actually pregnant. I don't know.
Yeah, that was one of the notes I had. Wanda's twins are real?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, what's your worst theory?
So I read a theory on Reddit. I didn't write down the person's name, and I wouldn't call you out anyway. But someone had a theory that Pietro showing up is not proof that Wanda has opened the multiverse and the X-Men have come to the MCU. He posited that Wanda has gone into the X-Men universe, which doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. No, that's not how this works.
So, like, she would be in the MCU, she's not there anymore. She's in the Foxverse. I don't know if this person knew that Fox has been purchased by Disney.
Yeah, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. And why is it not a story about X-Men then?
Right. Why wouldn't you just
why
move
do we
one
have
character
Sword
over to
and
the MCU? Why would you move one? Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. That's dumb.
Well, yeah, like I said, that's all Vander, did you have any dumb theories?
I started to read this and it said somebody had said that Pietro was still Pietro from the MCU.
No.
But they actually recast him.
See, the problem is, we talked about this earlier. If Evan Peters was going to play the neighbor down the street, then that would have been one thing, which we said was possible. I mean, he's an actor. He's been in a lot of good stuff. Kick-Ass, American Horror Story.
Yeah.
You don't of all the people in the world, you don't bring in the guy who played Quicksilver 3 times in the Foxverse.
It's pointed. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Dumb theory.
It's direct. So if it were anyone else, then I could totally buy that. And to Nate's point, that's why the did they recast Pietro seems a little on the nose, because they brought in the person who plays him.
Yeah.
In the Foxverse. But I get it.
He actually played him first, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Same year, I think. Yeah,
I don't remember. It was right around then there.
But that's part of the reason they said Marvel killed Quicksilver off in Age of Ultron. They didn't want to keep having to make this deal with Fox every year, every time they wanted to use him.
Good points.
Makes sense.
You guys got anything else before we let the people go?
Man, that's it. I'm just really excited. Yeah, I mean, it started out with this season like, what is this trying to be? To, all right, I think I'm following, but I'm still confused. To, all right, let's get this shit going. It's fucking awesome.
I just love fan service and cool shit. And when you end it, especially when you wait every week, like maybe my life is pathetic, probably is, but I look forward to this show every Friday because I know they're going to drop a bombshell on me.
Yeah.
I just love the pacing of this show. We've got 2 episodes that dropped at the same time. We go, all right, that was fun, but I don't really know what's going on. A 3rd episode that got a little bit more exciting. Still confused. They answered, I'd say, 90% of the questions in episode 4. And now I have another 25 questions leaving this episode.
I think it's kind of a testament to them and knowing what product they have. They dropped the first 2 episodes at the same time. I think they knew they had to do that.
Yeah. If I would have had to wait back-to-back weeks and gotten that, I think a lot of people would have been like, dude, what?
Exactly. I think they knew what they were doing. They could wrap people in enough at that point. So I have all the faith in the world, and these remaining episodes are going to be awesome.
Also, one other thing I saw, Kat Dennings said in an interview this past week that Darcy Lewis has some other upcoming MCU appearances. So this show is not the last we'll see of her, which will be cool.
Yeah.
That is, I read that as well. And I also read that her character did not blip out. She has been there for the past 5 years. And that's
that's good to know.
That's how she has now become Dr. Darcy Lewis as opposed to just Darcy Lewis.
Okay.
So you know, half the competition.
Yep. Jumps right to the top.
All right, for the mad scientist Brian Banner and the American hero Nate Thurman, I'm the mayor Jeff Hornacek, and we are the Bro 4 Squad podcast. Thank you guys for checking us out. We got 4 more episodes of WandaVision, and then, dude, we jump right into Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think we have like a week off, so this is awesome. Follow us on Twitter at Bro 4 Squad. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts if you type in Bro Force Squad as 3 separate words. And check out everything that we post on our website, bro4squad.com. Till next time, we have to go look for Nate's missing dog that he keeps washing in my fucking sink.
It's a big sink. What do you want me to do?
I chop vegetables near that.
Oh,